Joining me now is senior NBA reporter Brian Windhorst. Windy, what's your reaction to LeBron announcing Philly as his next destination?
Well, he articulated in his comments on social media afterwards what was driving this decision. He said it was not family, it was not anything else. It was winning a championship immediately, right now. And while that sounds like it would be obvious for any free agent, we didn't really know that. We didn't really know what basketball happiness meant as we waited over the last month. And if that was truly LeBron's number one thing, I think Golden State and Miami right out of the gate, I think would be off the list, because I don't think those two teams are ready right now, even with LeBron, to truly consider themselves championship contenders. That brought the focus to Cleveland and Philadelphia. And I think one of the most important things you can say here is, who does LeBron know he's got a basis with? I know the city of Cleveland he does, obviously, but he played with Joel Embiid on Team USA. He has a long history with Tyrese Maxey. And if you're going to figure out how things are going to get stitched together and how you're going to share the ball and how roles are going to get defined, you want to have that basis. And over the last couple of weeks, he's been having conversations with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. And so I don't think this was a clean decision. I don't think he really made up his mind fully until late last night. But I think that those previous connections were a tipping point as he got into Cleveland versus Philly.
So why do you think this is the happiest place for him to play?
I think it's all about who can win the championship in 2027. And I don't think it's a clear. Cleveland may end up being a better team than Philly in the end. We'll have to see. A lot of it's going to come down to health. But he seems to believe, based on this decision, that Philadelphia has the best chance to win. This is not a decision based on golf. It's not a decision based on where the best neighborhood and all that stuff is. Although I'm sure he'll play a lot of golf and live in a beautiful home, whether it's in Philadelphia or in New York. This was a decision based on who can I join. And I do think the Cavs had a decision to make 3-4 weeks ago. When Jaylen Brown was available, the Cavs could have made an offer that would have included maybe Evan Mobley, where they could have maybe gotten Jaylen Brown. But they liked their team and they wanted to appeal to LeBron James with what they had. And Philly's trading for Jaylen Brown, I think, was a tipping point in this discussion in the end.
And now that they've traded for Jaylen Brown, there's a lot of mouths to feed in Philly in terms of usage. We saw LeBron play off the ball with the Lakers alongside Luka and AR. So how do you imagine Philly sorting out the touches with him alongside Maxey, JB, and Embiid?
Well, Philly is looking at two completely different styles of play, even more than last year, because Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe were big-time transition players. Well, when you add Jaylen Brown and LeBron James, you're adding two of the top 10 transition scorers from last year. So you're looking at having 4 of the top 15 or 20 transition scorers from a year ago. So you hear that and you think, that's a track meet team. That's a team that's going to play high-speed basketball, fast-break basketball up and down the court. That's obviously not the way you're going to play with Joel Embiid. And that's obviously not the way that you're necessarily going to win in the playoffs. So this is going to definitely be a process. I think you're going to see Philly look great at times playing high speed and other times have some issues. But I can't emphasize this enough. This is not going to be about having the most wins in the regular season. It's going to be about Embiid and LeBron being healthy and having a style of play that works at the end.
You've already said it, Wendy. Process. LeBron is going to have to trust it in Philly. Thank you for joining us.
According to Shams, LeBron James has made his decision. He is headed to the Philadelphia 76ers on a 2-year veteran minimum $8 million deal. His agent, Rich Paul, told ESPN. So the big news that we have been waiting on, Stephen A., for weeks now has finally arrived. I know that you described this as shock when you take a look at some of the other contenders, Miami, Cleveland, Golden State, Minnesota. Your surprise level on him being a Philadelphia 76er is rooted in what?
It's rooted in the fact that I know what Cleveland means to him. And him being available to go back home to Cleveland to end his career is what I anticipated. I thought that would be too much for him to shun or to push aside. Not to say that he did it with any malice intent. Of course, he loves that area. It's home to him. That's what I was thinking. Miami, obviously, even though you got Giannis and Bam, the reality is that you still need to fill a roster and you need a few things if you're Miami even if you were to get LeBron James. In Cleveland, there is the James Harden factor because you promised him you're going to re-sign him, and you never know if he's going to show up in a big game, meaning a game 6 or 7 of a series. And obviously, you know what? There's only one basketball. He's going to want it, and James Harden's never really played off the ball. So you've got that issue. It makes total sense that it's Philly. I just thought that if he was going to go back east, it would be real difficult for him to say no to Cleveland because it's home, it's everything for him. He's deified there as well he should be. They'll hang a statue for him one day when his career is over. He will deserve it, make no mistake about it. But I just thought that that was the kind of thing that would get in the way of him going anywhere else if he went back east. So the fact that he's chosen Philadelphia from a basketball standpoint, it makes all the sense in the world. With Maxey, with Edgecombe, with the acquisition of Jaylen Brown, who is a stud and an all-world player in the NBA, LeBron joining that crew as the elder statesman, having those young thoroughbreds to carry most of the legwork, it makes perfect sense. I just thought that home would be too much of a pull for him to shove aside.
Shams Charania broke this story moments ago, and he joins us now on First Take. Shams, how did LeBron arrive at this decision?
Courtney, he spent the last few weeks talking to Philadelphia, Cleveland, Miami. As we know, those were the teams at the front lines of this because of the simple fact that LeBron James went into this process once he decided to leave the Lakers, that this would be about winning, about competing at a high level, building a culture with a team, having a team that he trusts. And so the Eastern Conference team represented a chance to contend at a high level. The Warriors were also considered, of course. The Minnesota Timberwolves were considered heavily as well. But this clearly for LeBron James, he looked at the rosters in Philadelphia after the Jaylen Brown trade. Remember, guys, like Stephen A. Courtney, the Sixers were not even in the picture, were not on the map until Bob Myers and Mike Gansey went out there and traded for Jaylen Brown. So you have Tyrese Maxey, you have VJ Edgecombe, you have Jaylen Brown and Joel Embiid. So LeBron James looked at that roster. He looked at the Cavaliers roster. He looked at the Heat roster. And he is choosing the Philadelphia 76ers for a historic 24th season. But he's signing a 2-year deal, a player option for a potential 25th season. So the Sixers and LeBron James are going into this that he could very well play a historic record 25th season. And this is about Bob Myers and Mike Gansey and a slew of their players from Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, all calling LeBron James, having relationships with LeBron James, specifically Tyrese Maxey, and selling them on that vision that it was about winning. And so LeBron James made a decision today that he believes the Sixers are best positioned to go out there and win a championship. And so when he made it clear that this was not going to be a financial decision, he was able to go into it with a minimum contract no matter where he ended up. He got the ability to pick where he felt he would have the best chance to win a championship. And he put his money where his mouth is. Courtney, the last piece I'm told over the last week or so was just having that family conversation with LeBron James. We know Savannah, his wife, Zuri, his young daughter, they're LA based. Bryce, his youngest son, he's at Arizona. Bronny James is currently right now with the Lakers. And so him going all the way to the East Coast, going all the way to the Eastern Conference, no matter where he ended up, having that familial buy-in, that was very important for him. And I think that was the last step in this decision today. LeBron James shocks the entire NBA. He doesn't go Miami. He doesn't go Cleveland. He goes the Philadelphia 76ers, and he chooses Bob Myers, Josh Harris, that ownership group there, and now a starting 5 of Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, LeBron James, Jaylen Brown, and Joel Embiid.
Got to ask you, Shams, 43 years since the Sixers won a title. We know from a basketball